dipped into stews garnished with privilege. In this story, the king was once a peasant, a humble son to parents of humble minds. A firm hand on the farm, shepherds of rolling herds fetching feed for the famished of the flock. There was no power in his homestead, but everyone agreed. His heart shone with the radiance of 1,000 fireflies, regardless of how dark the night. These were different times, grassroots times. Kojoli was the place he first learned to dream, under the soft glow of crackling firewood flame, to ask, what miracle can these proper hands grow, and to pray the prayer of a seed in dirt. But dirt is a fertile ground for the germination of being. This story, from the wind-swept northeastern landscapes in all their glorious barrenness, with the gates of his father's house shut against the penetration of Western education, it seemed like the future would be full of doors no son of Garba would be able to unlock. But destiny is a dogged shadow, chasing and chasing until it caught him in Jada. God bless Kau Ali, who had learned to believe, even in those grassroots times grazed by doubt. He would register the little dreamer in a school and did not scorn his baby steps as if to say, yes, even the Iroko was once a tender seedling, learning to survive the rage of seasons. So dream, let the stars guide you. This story is about the path the dreamer towed through toil and tremor, tempest and tide, eating failure like yams. Some of them were hard to swallow, but it takes a man thirsty for triumph to keep watering his spirit when losses come encroaching like desert sands. Orphaned at 11, mother's heart gave up when the star of a chap began to glisten. He faced the world with a wrestled smile. Someone once said, grace is God's gift to you, but discipline is the gift you give yourself. Tito your daddo. This is Atiku, and Lord knows it takes a man yearning for mastery to refuse to open the door when the urge to give up comes knocking. This is Atiku, giving back generously to the very land that turned its back on him. Mounted castles where only shacks once stood. This is Atiku, who does not just say education is the key, but has forayed into the fairy furnace to forge many keys for our children. The man who has stood the test of age and times, who has ascended realms only few have dreamt. This is Atiku, battled the pressures of the Echelon to return to us as the diamond in the sky, who has scattered his seeds of unity in a land fragmented by shallow loyalties. Atiku, the man who has built empathy out of resentment, resilience out of defeat, and grace out of grass. This is Atiku, wazirin Adamawa, namiji barkono, mai akuya yayi tafiyan dare ma bale mai kura, ai wajen saukan doki ba wajen saukan jirgi bane ba, kuma koda kura baya cizo ai ba za a hada ta da rago ba, kuma mun san cewa kowa na Allah ne amma dai damo ai na mai gona ne. This man, willing to speak our problems into the light and articulate solutions for the good of all. Atiku, the man for whom our collective struggle is but a deja vu, and trust the man who has done it once to do it again. For out of Jada, a bud of hope has risen like a prophecy, and this time it will not wither in vain. By the light of his heart and the willingness of the people as active stakeholders in the business of actualizing the greater tomorrow we all dream. Nigeria, the universe is calling. It is our time to answer.
Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Social Trends here on AtikuLive, and I remain your favorite host, Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sylvia, and you're welcome to another day.
Welcome guys. Well, I trust you had a wonderful night's rest, because I did. Well, let's jump right into what we have for today. It's not news by now that there is a scarcity of petrol. It's something that has been looming about Abuja and Nigeria in general for a while now. And this is like the third time this year that there's this kind of scarcity going on. And now I've heard that it has spread even to Lagos and Ogun State, and some other states also have, you know, reported this same case of fuel scarcity. It's something that's just very, very disappointing, because I remember far back as, you know, before this Buhari administration, it's not something that we talk about a lot. You know, the fuel scarcity issue is getting to be something else at this point. Well, the way I see it, basically, maybe somehow this administration will probably put an end to this fuel scarcity problem, because it's becoming a serious cause for alarm, to be honest. And lately also there's news that suspected thugs attacked Jando's campaign team, and by now we should know who Jando is. He is the governorship candidate of the PDP. Also, he is known as Olajide Adediran, but popularly known as Jando. His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has condemned this action by the thugs. On his official Twitter handle, he said, "The attack on the campaign train of Jandor, the PDP governorship candidate in Outward Badagry, by suspected thugs is condemned." He also went on to say it is against the INEC guidelines and the peace accord recently signed by the presidential candidates until those behind these attacks are arrested and faced with the full wrath of the law. It will encourage other copycats to follow suit. This is just a very sad case, because, yeah, if we remember, a few weeks ago, there was the case of the peace accord signing ahead of the 2023 elections, and suddenly this kind of thing is going on. What exactly do you have to say about this?
Seriously, the thing happened that it's even against the INEC law, according to the peace accord and
Yes,
the
of
presidential situation. But the truth is that the whole thing happening in Nigeria, and the presidential candidates, the governor candidate of that's Jadon being attacked, it's actually appalling. And the truth is that those thugs, they came to fight and to kill.
Yes, they did.
Because they came with a weapon, they came with guns and different weapons, and a lot of people actually got injured. That is very, very
yes, some PDP members were actually reported injured, and also a few other journalists also that were on site were also injured due to this attack. And this is a very serious, I think INEC should do something about this, because I don't know what exactly transpired, if these thugs were sent or if they are working on their own accord, but this is just a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to be reporting by this time of the day. Well,
PDP people, we are actually a peaceful people. And if people have something to say to us, you don't come by fighting. As you can see, PDP is taking over, and it's really affecting them. They are really getting jealous of the whole thing happening, and they can see PDP coming into power. And they see no other way to do this but to fight. And come to think of it, the people that should look into this should also try as much as possible. The area commander of the Badagry areas, they should look into this and fish out these people that actually caused this harm, and they should be persecuted for their misbehaviors.
Well, guys, we also have your president, our president, President Muhammadu Buhari. He has given the Minister of Water Resources an ultimatum of 90 days to come up, is it 90 days? Sorry, 60 days actually, to come up with a prevention plan for the flood. But then, you know what everybody is saying, and what I'm also thinking? Do you know the meaning of prevention? Prevention is before.
You're not even finding a solution.
Do you understand? Like, the prevention should be done. A prevention measure should be taken before something happens. But this is a case of something that has happened already. So shouldn't it be more like
a solution?
A solution, or something to, like, you get what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
So
and
he's
giving us the period that he's going to leave seats. Because check it, if you're looking at it, the 3 months from now, he's no longer going to be there.
Yeah.
So he's coming out.
Days,
He's coming out now to tell us. That means it's none of his business. Whatever, if people want to die, you can go ahead and die. That's what I'm saying. And the whole thing happening now in Nigeria, I will have to tell people to just be careful.
It's just really
because
sad,
you cannot start looking for prevention when people are already dying in this flood. People are already losing their properties. And I think we are still going to talk about more other things about the
relating to the flood.
Because
this flood has caused so much disaster, so much. Honestly speaking, it's something that people were not expecting, because apparently, according to reports, this is the worst case of flooding since 2012. Do you know how long ago this was, guys? I feel like this administration has just come with a lot of things, like a lot of new things that we didn't know back then. Both power grid failing. Somebody said that the power grid needs life support because it's always failing, it's always falling and everything. And then now we have the case of the flooding. Come on, like
they
this
have
is
actually
so
failed
much.
us in so many, both our economics, in every areas that we actually achieving.
Even when it comes to, borrowing, external borrowing and all of that, like they're breaking records. I don't think there's any other administration that has borrowed as much as this administration, and yet they also break records for the administration with the least infrastructure or whatsoever, because they're borrowing so much and we're not seeing where it's going into.
I'm yet to see like what Buhari will come out to say, like, this is what I actually achieved in Nigeria. This is what I brought to Nigeria, and this is what is going to stay in Nigeria and is going to help people.
Well, he said that the Air Nigeria, if you guys pay attention to the news, you should know that Air Nigeria is a project that he has been trying to implement, getting our own airplanes and all of that, locally. Yeah. But I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm going to put my legs are not entering that plane, because if this administration cannot even carry me, I can't even survive properly in this administration on the ground.
No more of the air.
Like, talk more of on the air. Like, no, please, I'm sorry, I can't. I would not. I'm very sorry. Please give us another thing, like a parting gift, not an airplane. I don't want.
Seriously, the whole thing he's stating that he's going to, they should start looking for solution. I know this flood started around early this month, early October. And from that period till now, this is the time you're only coming out to sympathize with people who have actually been swept away by the... exactly.
That is always his line.
This is when you're coming out to say things. No. And you're not even talking about solution. Rather, you're giving them till the period you're going to be out of seat to actually find a prevention, not even a solution to what people are facing right now. It's so appalling, seriously.
Like, I don't even know how dumb this administration thinks that people are. Like, how dumb do they think we are? Because how can you use the word prevention? Do you know what the word prevention means?
I can't wait for them to leave. I can't wait. I can't wait for people to vote them out.
Exactly 90 days. Like, this is just trying to give your responsibility to somebody else so that you can, find your way out of it.
Because he's running away from he don't deserve to be a leader. Okay,
but for now, even if the prevention measures are being put in place, okay, no problem. But why not, palliatives for the people, the victims of the flood?
Rather, we see other presidents from other countries even contributing very much better to see that these people are...
we have religious leaders and all of that
doing
actually giving the palliatives.
But what's our own president doing? Recently, he just got back from South Korea. People are dying in your country. You're busy traveling abroad. Are you supposed to travel? Even at least come out to Nigeria and say, oh, I see what is actually happening. And I'm going to find every means to fix this thing. You did not come out. It's now at the end of when everything is escalating the more, that you're coming out to tell us that you're looking for a way to prevent the flood.
I've always been saying Nigeria is sinking, but now it's literal. God forgive me for saying it. Like, I've always been saying it, and now it's literal. Because this flood has taken over 30 states.
Everywhere.
30 states, guys. This is serious. Well, let's dive on to what we have next. It's still about the flood anyway. The Lagos Third Mainland Bridge. You should know that bridge by now. I think it was just reconstructed or something, renovated. Because I think I came across some articles talking about, renovations. And
when it comes
now, the water below is
rising so quickly
and then everybody is at alert. Everybody is letting their neighbors and friends know that this bridge will soon be submerged in water.
Yeah. One thing about Lagos is that they have the rich people's side and the poor people. Let me say the mainland. It's the Lagosians actually see it as this part is for the poor, and now it's just this bridge that connects this poor and the rich. And the truth is that with this thing happening now, the rich is are definitely going to run to the poor people for safety. Now, the only thing I can tell you is this flood is really, we should not neglect it. And that is the major bridge, like that Third Mainland Bridge. I guess you've heard a lot of things happening there. It's the main bridge that connects the mainland to the island. And with what and the way it's rising, I think people from CMS, Ikoyi, Victoria Island, and Lekki phase 1, I think they should start moving quickly. Some celebrities also took to their social media to talk about this, to also show how much they're panicking. The billionaires in the Lekki area and Ikoyi and Victoria Island, they actually came out to talk about how this thing is really coming up very quickly. And please, if there is any way you can help them, because right now, no more segregation. In this situation, everybody has to be one. We need each other. Please, if there is any way you can help them, please.
Yes, we should. Yes, everybody should actually, actively participate in lifting one or two people, to the extent that you can. Well, again, I'm going to bring up this issue of the fuel scarcity. I cannot even emphasize enough on how this thing is affecting everybody. One way or another, prices of transportation has gone up. Yeah. Okay, let's even forget about the scarcity. There was a time, I think earlier this year, a few months ago actually, the price of petrol went up. Like, it added by I think almost 100 naira. Yeah. It went up so dramatically. Now everybody is still trying to adjust to these new prices, and now fuel is scarce. So even when you have the money to buy it, you can't find it. Yeah.
As of last week when I came back from work, when I go back from work, I bought petrol for 4,000 naira for 5 liters. Was it 5 liters or 10 liters? But now I don't think I can get it at that rate. And I think some people are even hoarding their petrol. And I'm asking why, how? People actually need this. This is actually what people need. Why are you hoarding it? So that it will last longer for you or what? They should not forget, especially in Lagos, they should not forget that this flood is coming. And once this flood contaminates with the water, it's definitely not going to.
But then at the same time, can you blame them? It's just like in a case of an apocalypse, for instance, it's something that hasn't happened before. But imagine a case of an apocalypse. Do you get the scenario I'm trying to give? So when people figure out that there will probably be famine, or there will probably be there will be restricted movements or whatever, and you need to survive, you need this thing to survive. People, as human beings, actually, we tend to want to keep more, as much as possible, to save as much as possible and manage what we've been able to gather ahead of, the tough times. Even ants do it. Even ants, the ants on the ground, they tend to gather food ahead of, rainy season. And then during that rainy season, that's what they feed on.
But now, I think they should help people, especially people who does not have any other means.
No,
but
the government needs to find a way.
They need to
find,
of course, everything should boils back to that. They need to look into it.
If I have money and I have, the storage, how to keep it, I'll buy as much as possible and keep, because chances are that before this fuel scarcity, goes away, the price of petrol will still go up.
When I say that this government have failed us, they have actually failed us in so many, both in our economies, but the CBN, everywhere. And I can't just wait for them to leave. They should just not finish us before they leave. They should just at least leave us with these little ones that we are managing. since they have decided they're not going to do anything again about Nigeria, the truth is that go in peace. Just carry your wahala
and go.
And go.
Honestly,
Seriously.
honestly. Guys, we're going to go on a short break. And when we're back, we'll give you some other juicy gist that you have been waiting for. Stay tuned.
This story did not begin in the wealthiest of wombs, or streams flowing with liquid gold and silver spoons dipped into stews garnished with privilege. In this story, the king was once a peasant, a humble son to parents of humble minds. A firm hand on the farm, shepherds of rolling herds fetching feed for the famished of the flock. There was no power in his homestead, but everyone agreed. His heart shone with the radiance of 1,000 fireflies, regardless of how dark the night. These were different times, grassroots times. Kojoli was the place he first learned to dream, under the soft glow of crackling firewood flame, to ask, what miracle can these pauper hands grow, and to pray the prayer of a seed in dirt. But dirt is a fertile ground for the germination of being. This story, from the wind-swept northeastern landscapes in all their glorious barrenness, with the gates of his father's house shut against the penetration of Western education, it seemed like the future would be full of doors no son of Garba would be able to unlock. But destiny is a dogged shadow, chasing and chasing until it caught him in Jada. God bless Kau Ali, who had learned to believe, even in those grassroots times grazed by doubt. He would register the little dreamer in a school and did not scorn his baby steps as if to say, yes, even the Iroko was once a tender seedling, learning to survive the rage of seasons. So dream, let the stars guide you. This story is about the path the dreamer towed through toil and tremor, tempest and tide, eating failure like yams. Some of them were hard to swallow, but it takes a man thirsty for triumph to keep watering his spirit when losses come encroaching like desert sands. Orphaned at 11, mother's heart gave up when this star of a chap began to glisten. He faced the world with a wrestled smile. Someone once said, grace is God's gift to you, but discipline is the gift you give yourself. Tito Yodetdo. This is Atiku, and Lord knows it takes a man yearning for mastery to refuse to open the door when the urge to give up comes knocking. This is Atiku, giving back generously to the very land that turned its back on him. Mounted castles where only shacks once stood. This is Atiku, who does not just say education is the key, but has forayed into the fairy furnace to forge many keys for our children. The man who has stood the test of age and times, who has ascended realms only few have dreamt. This is Atiku, battled the pressures of the Echelon to return to us as the diamond in the sky, who has scattered his seeds of unity in a land fragmented by shallow loyalties. Atiku, the man who has built empathy out of resentment, resilience out of defeat, and grace out of grass. This is Atiku, wazirin Adamawa, namiji barkono, mai akuya yayi tafiyan dare ma bale mai kura, ai wajen saukan doki ba wajen saukan jirgi bane ba, kuma koda kura baya cizo ai ba za a hada ta da rago ba, kuma mun san cewa kowa na Allah ne amma dai damo ai na mai gona ne. This man, willing to speak our problems into the light and articulate solutions for the good of all. Atiku, the man for whom our collective struggle is but a deja vu, and trust the man who has done it once to do it again. For out of Jada, a bud of hope has risen like a prophecy, and this time it will not wither in vain. By the light of his heart and the willingness of the people as active stakeholders in the business of actualizing the greater tomorrow we all dream. Nigeria, the universe is calling. It is our time to answer.
Exciting line of gists. Let's talk about the U.S. authorities who have sent a memo to evacuate every non-critical staff from Nigeria. This is a very serious matter, guys. If you were staying tuned, about 48 hours ago, the U.S. Embassy released a memo basically letting us know about the security threat alert. They've just letting us know that our security, especially here in the federal capital, has been infiltrated. And they were also letting us know that their services were going to be limited, and they'll probably most likely not even be in the office anymore because of, you know, this security threat. Do you have anything to say about this?
Remember when I told you that this whole thing, they gave just 2 days for it. After the 2 days, what happened?
The police, right?
Yes, about the place. And right now, we are seeing more things coming up day by day. I still ask, what are they doing about this? Are they actually putting up the main things to do, like the security strategies, to see that these whole things, especially those strategic places that they mentioned, that people should stay away? Are they actually looking at or finding a way to put security personnel there? It's not, because one, this threat is coming up like every day. For them to even evacuate their citizens or their people out from Nigeria, I'm asking, is it that our the government, they don't find things like this? This
is actually a very, very serious situation, because if you come to think of it now, if a whole United States, although they're not the best when it comes to security of citizens anyway, they don't rank.
They're not the one telling us what is happening in our country.
For a whole United States to rank Nigeria as the most number 3 when it comes to terrorism and kidnappings and all of that, that's actually a high ranking for US to give to us, because guys, like, this is serious, this is alarming. And you know what really caught my attention was the fact that they're not just evacuating the non-critical non-critical staff, they're also evacuating their family. So that's to tell you that they're literally taking everybody that they care about, and they're leaving because of the security threat. This is a very serious problem, and if this does not make anyone worried, it makes me worried. I'm worried.
I'm panicking, seriously.
And again, like Onyinye said, she has not been seeing any security, maybe DSS or you know, the police or anybody, any official at all at strategic points. Nothing. I was coming to work today, and I just kept on looking left, right, and center, because anything can happen at any time. I mean, even the US authorities said it, that these attacks will most likely be without any warning.
Exactly.
And then they've given us the list of places to avoid: religious houses, markets, schools, even busy places. And do you know what still surprises me is how the government, our president, has not still imposed maybe impose curfew or impose sit at home.
At least come out, before you even do that, come out and tell your people to be careful with this whole threat of a thing coming up. Come out and tell your people.
Let us be calm, like talk to us and tell
us
that you're
that things are
big.
Of course.
There's a way you say that, oh, we're handling this. You don't have to be worried or anything that way. Although I was still worried, because I mean, it's this administration, but still, I mean, that way I know that you're doing your responsibility.
Seriously, I don't know if I would say I'm the most saddest person in this country. Like, if I should find a way, if I should find my way out of this country, I don't think I'm ever going to come back.
Nah, I'm coming back. I know that
there is hope.
There is hope.
When that hope comes in, maybe I can think of staying back in Nigeria.
There is hope, guys. Are you seeing the way? The way this administration does not care about you. It can never happen under the administration of His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because he has always been one for the people. He has always been one for the people. It's really fantastic the way he treats people like they are actual human beings. He knows that we have feelings. He knows that we have emotions. We have problems. But our own president, I really don't think that he remembers or realizes that he's
aware
the leader
of anything. I don't think he's even aware he's the leader of this country. I'm not sure he knows that he's the president. I think he's just sitting there and collecting money. Seriously, because this whole thing happening in Nigeria, and we have a leader who is supposed to always come out to speak to his people. He does not do anything but to sit and travel.
It's really sad. It's just to travel and represent Nigeria here and there. And then this case of, you know, the president giving the 90 days ultimatum to the Minister of Water Resources. I'm not understanding. I'm sure the Minister of Water Resources just saw the memo and he's like, Oga, but you are the president. Now what do you want me to do?
Actually, yeah,
really?
at least they are supposed to come up with a plan.
There is no plan whatsoever. It's happened already.
What we should be looking at now is the solution
now,
to at least save people from this.
What would have been best would have been for him to sanction the Minister of Water Resources, you know, and the sanction should be because the Minister of Water Resources did not give any prior warning. Do you get that? Now that's where he would have been correct. But telling the Minister of Water Resources to come up with a prevention plan, it's just like telling me, you give me 20 naira and tell me to go and buy you champagne. How? Like, it's impossible to come up with a prevention plan for something that has happened.
Well, then how shall we that the minister have actually not done what he's supposed to do?
I have no idea.
Them putting it into implication and bring solution, at least disburse money for this and tell them, okay, let's see what you can do. How sure are we that he've not done that?
At this point, the only thing I'm sure of is that this administration has failed.
They have actually failed.
Woefully. That's the only thing I am very sure of. Like, no, honestly speaking, I'm sorry I keep bringing this up. How can you say prevention for something that has happened?
Alrighty.
And then also our first lady, I'm not hearing from Mommy, I'm not hearing from Alaja.
What else are you expecting her to say?
Sympathize with citizens. She's our mommy now. She's the first lady. Even if the president does not connect emotionally with his citizens, the first lady should be able to, because at least women we know are driven with emotions.
Just the way Patient was really involved.
Do you understand? The former first lady of Nigeria, Dame Patience Jonathan, she was amazing, and people took her for granted. Our former first lady came on air and she literally shed tears of pain, and people were laughing and making jokes of it. But are you seeing it now? You see it now.
We actually missed her.
Who's going to show us this kind of love again? Honestly, it's something else.
We missed her.
I do miss her. Well, guys, before we start to get very angry about this administration, I think it's time we call it a day. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time with you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget to share the link to this show to your family and friends.
Hi, what I would say is, please, with this whole flood happening, you guys need to be careful. Please, especially those people in Lagos. It's going to be very terrible in Lagos. Try as much as possible to stay safe. So we come your way next time. My name is Abuja Sylvia.
And my name is Sarah Stanley. Stay tuned. Tune in next time, same time. Bye, guys.
Growing up as a little boy, we were told every day that we were the leaders of tomorrow. Good roads, stable power supply, good education, job opportunities, political inclusion, better healthcare, reduction of the cost of living were some of the things we were promised in tomorrow. We were so excited about the hope we had been fed with about tomorrow. But days went by, years went by, and tomorrow never came. Turned out there was never really a plan for tomorrow. It was all a lie to keep us in their mental slavery. Because with each day that goes by, I see my country being stripped of her glory. But we know better now. We are more aware now. It is time to take our country back from these hijackers who keep recycling themselves. If this tomorrow must come, we will have to create it ourselves. But this time, with someone we can trust. Someone who understands our pain. And so I call on every Nigerian youth. Come 2023, come out and vote. Because our vote is our power. When you vote, vote for a man we can trust. Vote for a breath of fresh air. Vote Atiku Abubakar. for president.